Hey guys, it's Christmas Eve, and I wanted to wish all of my many friends who observe this holiday a very Merry Christmas. Now, I was raised as a Muslim. I came to this country from India when I was 4 years old. And, as an immigrant from non-Christian country, as a Muslim, my parents made it very clear when we were young of what our religious identity was, that we were Muslims. And yet, throughout my life growing up, I found my parents to be very, very friendly towards our neighbors and our friends and our coworkers, our teachers who were Christian. My parents were always generous in wishing people a Merry Christmas and giving gifts to our neighbors during the holiday, and they did this without ever compromising our own identity. So, growing up as an immigrant in this country, especially back in the 70s and early 80s, it was always difficult for me at least to grapple with the fact that our house was usually the only house on our block that didn't have Christmas lights up. Our house was the only one where you couldn't see a Christmas tree. And so I know growing up that I would ask my parents, can we get a Christmas tree? Can we put up lights? And my parents were very clear. They said, no, we are Muslims. We are not Christians. We're going to wish our neighbors and our friends and their coworkers a Merry Christmas and be supportive of them, but we're going to retain our identity. Now, fast forward to my life as a husband and a father. In our home, my wife and I have tried to maintain a very similar approach to the ones that we grew up with. So we do not put up Christmas lights. We don't have a Christmas tree, but I know particularly my wife makes it a point to make sure that we, give small gifts to the neighbors of ours that we're close with that are Christian throughout our children's public school years. We have sent Christmas gifts to their teachers who celebrate Christmas. I know that as a sports parent, we always sent gifts on Christmas to our volleyball coaches and our wrestling coaches. And, at work, I enjoy going to holiday parties and I enjoy all of the trappings of the Christmas season, the lights, the festivities. um, I love the tradition of just people being a little bit nicer to each other. And, those are things that I feel, I really enjoy. I love that stuff. And at the same time, I am more mindful today than I was when I was younger about maintaining the distinction between the commercialized aspects of Christmas and the religious aspects of Christmas. When I was younger, in college and, in my early professional life, I always tried to explain that, Christianity and Islam are very similar and that, we both recognize some of the same, fundamental ideas and beliefs of, the birth of Jesus Christ and about his mother and about his miracles and about his return. But as I started developing closer relationships with people who were devoutly religious Christians, I came to understand that, trying to gloss over some of the more important distinctions between Islam and Christianity was actually offensive to Christians. And so now I'm much more mindful. And I want to point out that as I wish you a Merry Christmas, and as I enjoy the commercial aspects of Christmas and even the religious aspects of peace on earth and showing kindness to one another, I am mindful that you have a deeply religious perspective and observance of this holiday, and nothing that I say should try to take away from that. I respect that greatly. Now, I think that there are some people in my faith community that find it objectionable that I would even, wish somebody a Merry Christmas. And while I respect that difference of opinion, to me, I believe that respecting somebody and wishing them happy Christmas, a happy holiday, uh, sign of showing respect to them, and it's a sign of showing love to them. And in a country like the United States, where we literally come from every corner of the earth to live together as a community, if we can't show love and respect to each other for the things that make us different, then it's going to be impossible for us to maintain a cohesive society. Now, we're in a period in time right now where there are literally people who are arguing that America cannot be a diverse society, that we are a white society, that we are a Christian society, and that, we need to hearken back to some of these identities of race and religion in order to maintain cohesion as Americans. And I'm of the opinion that we can build cohesion, that we can come together and feel a sense of shared identity, not in the color of our skin or in the religion that we practice, but in the values of the United States, of the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, the rule of law, due process under law, these values. Now, people who are arguing for a Christian society, a white society, they will tell you that no, these values cannot be the basis of a shared creed that keeps us together. But that's exactly what we're seeing when we live in communities where you have Christians and Muslims, Hindus and Sikhs and Buddhists, and atheists and agnostics, and we all live in the same community, and we can all be friendly towards each other, show true love for each other. When we're in the Christmas season, we wish our neighbors a Merry Christmas. When it is a religious holiday for the Jewish community, we wish them the best in their religious holidays. When it's a Hindu tradition, it's a Hindu celebration, we wish them the best. And then vice versa, when it's a Muslim holiday, we feel good when our non-Muslim neighbors and friends and coworkers ask us questions about Ramadan, about fasting, when they wish us a happy Eid during our Eid celebrations. Those are all examples of how actually that commitment to freedom of religion, freedom of speech, rule of law, due process under law, all these very high-minded principles actually can be the basis for cohesion within our communities. And we see that every time we come to a season that is sacred or special for some part of our community, and when others who may not be a part of that tradition can gather around and be excited for and happy for that part of our community that is celebrating. So I think that uh, being able to wish my non-Muslim friends, my Christian friends, a Merry Christmas is actually an example of how we are bound together as a society. So I want to say Merry Christmas to all of you. I hope that you have a peaceful and happy holiday together, and looking forward to a fantastic new year. I think there's a lot that we've got to work on in 2026, and I am so grateful to have so many wonderful friends and family, neighbors, coworkers, and colleagues to work together with to build that more just and more verdant society going forward.